For today's webinar, we will look at the role of leader standardised work in TPM and Lean CI journey. Our presenter today is Ross Kennedy. Ross is the President and Founder of CTPM. Ross is recognised as Australia's leading authority on total productive maintenance and CTPM's operations excellence through the TPM and Lean methodology. So let's get started. We hope you enjoy today's webinar, and I will now pass you over to Ross.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. Today's topic is leader standardised work to support your TPM and Lean or CI journey. We came across this topic again from our members who I was visiting in Perth and in Brisbane recently, who were having some challenges in trying to get more stability in their workplace and to get their leaders out there supporting their improvement journey by doing compliance audits, etc. So everyone was all too busy. So it became I guess a hot topic for them to talk about leader standardised work. So I thought I'd use it today to share some of our learnings regarding this important part of your improvement journey. So we want to talk about what is the role of leader standardised work, why is it important, what's it trying to address, what are the key ingredients for success, and how do we get started. I've used the word leader standardised work. You'll see in some literature they talk about leader standard work. I guess it's like everything, people have different language to use, but we're all talking about the same thing. So I'll use the leader standardised work for today. So it's a simple concept, however, often difficult to apply. And I think you'll find that with a number of concepts in the Lean journey and TPM journey, is that we come across things you say, well, that's common sense, that's pretty simple. But then when we go and try to apply it into our workplace, we tend to get a few challenges. So why is it a simple concept? Well, let's think about what is it. Leader standard work or standardized work, a detailed list of important responsibilities of a leader that are conducted on a regular, disciplined basis so as to develop the people reporting to them. That's one way of describing it. And this is more than just a typical job description for a leader. This is about the actual activities and the time and how much time they'll spend, and ultimately then we have to develop the leader to be able to execute that list of responsibilities to go out and develop their people. However, often difficult to apply. Why is that concept of getting our leaders to have regular, disciplined interactions with their people in the workplace, and that's walking into the workplace and talking to them. Often we have firefighting in our organisations where, and often that's symptomatic of an unstable production plant. Often we have changing demands and priorities, and we've got to go off and attend an extra meeting, and we can't do that walk we said we're going to do to go into the workplace and talk to our people. And thirdly, we might get unexpected visits, whether it be from corporate turning up, customers turning up, or suppliers turning up. So if we just put a little bit more framework around that very quickly, what we find at many sites, and this is taken from what we call the vicious circle from Ian Glenday's book Breaking Through to Flow, where he describes many workplaces he goes to, and what we find in many of the workplaces we go to, where things go wrong during the day. Something might break down, raw material may not turn up, but packaging material may not be correct, and all of a sudden there's a change to the plan, and stop making this, go make that, or whatever, and then that may require more changeovers, which then lead into more waste or more losses on our equipment, which leads to less capacity or loss of capacity. And then we might find that we're running short on some of our orders, or our promises are not being met to our customers. So quickly we go and change the plans again, and we go into the vicious cycle. So firefighting and symptom solving are the norm way of operating. So everyone's very, very busy, working very, very hard, doing all this, and I just don't have time to go and do a compliance audit or a review of the workplace to ensure the quality standards are being done. The other site we find is meetings, bloody meetings, as our friend John Cleese would call it. Too many meetings. Now, what sort of meetings do we have in our workplaces? Well, often there's ones associated with achieving the production plan or the work plan, and they could be daily review meetings or production planning meetings. We often have capital project meetings when they've got some new work going on, or may even be new products coming into the workplace. There's another one on the project meeting basis. Improvement meetings, we have our continuous improvement activities through our TPM and Lean or other improvement initiatives. We often have communication meetings. We have statutory required meetings sometimes associated with safety committees, etc. And I'm sure you can probably list a lot more that we have in our workplaces. And thirdly, what we find at many sites are too many external disruptions. Corporate visits, supplier visits, customer audits, quality audits from maybe corporate, safety investigations if there's ever been an accident. Hopefully there isn't, but if there is, all of a sudden things get totally disrupted. You might get work cover investigations coming in, and you may have union visits and meetings coming along that are extremely important, and all of a sudden you are taken away from your normal work. So I guess that leads us on to a question for the audience, just to see whether any of these issues are relevant to your workplaces. Does your site suffer from firefighting, changing demand and priorities, and unexpected visits, which would make trying to do standardised work more tricky? So we have a range of people on our webinar today, which is great. We are getting the poll coming in now, and let's see, we'd like to welcome some of our visitors from all around Australia and from New Zealand who are with us today. And our poll is closed, and everyone's saying 100%. That's the first time we've got 100%. So I guess we all have this challenge on our hands of everyone being disrupted and extremely busy. So let's move on to talking more detail about the role of leader standardised work, which hopefully is to address these issues. Okay, so what is the role of leader standardised work? To bring discipline and stability to the workplace to allow you to be more effective in developing the people reporting to you, or in other words, your team. Why is this so important? Well, I guess we've learned, and many companies have learned, a disciplined site or team wins, an undisciplined site or team just passes the time of day. So if we want to be striving for world class, we really need to get this discipline and stability into the workplace. So what do we need to develop your people in? Was probably a key part of this. And I guess our learning is that everyone talks about problem solving, and that is absolutely critical, teaching people to be very effective at problem solving, getting to the root cause, but also being very effective about creating a visual workplace to find problems at the earliest possible time, while they are small problems rather than waiting for large problems to jump at you. And thirdly, prevention at source. Stop problems from occurring. So keeping the equipment perfectly clean so it doesn't get contamination all over it, and then leads to accelerated deterioration of your equipment components, as an example of that. How do we go about doing that? Well, we create the environment in the workplace with our cross-functional teams and area-based teams where through our continuous improvement activities, TPM and Lean, we get people involved to start learning about problem solving, visual workplace and prevention at source. But we also know that people only learn if they get reinforced, 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 reinforced. And the psychologists tell us 21 times in 7 sleeps to reinforce thinking into people so it becomes part of their habits. So a lot of this has to be supported by reminders and prompts and people asking questions and mentoring people. And this is where the leader standardized work comes into play to reinforce all this learning we're trying to do through our cross-functional teams. So why is it important? What are we trying to address? Well, we look at our improvement model where you have reactive improvement, which we have to be good at, and we have proactive improvement to take us to our world-class, true north, perfection, operational excellence environment. And we know that that will only be very successful if you have level production on what they call a stable production plan as the foundation. We've also learned when proactive improvement is successful, then the need for reactive improvement should significantly reduce. However, if reactive improvement or stability is poor, you may struggle to find time for proactive improvement. So the key point here is the stability is poor. But we need the stability so we can get out there, and with our proactive improvement and our reactive improvement, we are going out and reinforcing, mentoring and guiding our people to become good at both reactive and proactive. It won't just happen by them being on teams alone, has been our learning. So why is it important? What are we trying to address? Well, a disciplined approach to continuous improvement. It's like going to the gym to get fit. You don't get fit by going once a month. You get fit going at least weekly, and if not a couple of times a week, and doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. It's the same as learning new skills. We don't learn to play a musical instrument by having a lesson once a month. We do it every week, and we practice during the week. So this is really what this is trying to do. So how do we get that discipline? Well, we have effective daily review meetings that start and finish on time, that have set agendas, that have tasks, that have policies for initiating root cause analysis, rules for instigating root cause analysis, etc. We get our work area management, or some people call it 5S, going, but that will only be reinforced if we have compliance audits every week until we get 100% compliance on everyone following the standards that have been set. Then we might extend them to fortnightly or monthly, but 100% compliance. We need verification audits for our quality standards. We set up standard operating procedures and quality standards for every process, but unless someone's going out there and reinforcing and observing and giving feedback, and ensuring that our people, our frontline people understand, even things like going out and reviewing improvement team boards is a great demonstration to the improvement teams that the leaders are very, very interested and focused on the teams being successful. So what are the key ingredients for success? Well, first of all, we need a site leadership team to establish a more stable workplace environment by stabilising at least 50% of the production plan. Now, I'll come back to what I showed you, that vicious cycle from Ian Glenday, the concept of creating flow in the workplace by having a fixed time and sequence production plan for at least your what Ian Glenday refers to as the green stream, what we refer to as dominant products. But Ian Glenday has, in his research, has found that about 6% of all SKUs will make up about 50% of your production. It's getting those stabilised, standardised, so that then you have an environment. A good example of that would be one of our clients, Cooper's Brewery, where their dominant product is their pale ale. So pale ale is manufactured every Monday as a standard production plan, and any variation is covered in the warehouse, but what happens in the workplace is stabilised. That allows them to do all their improvement team activities on the Monday. It also allows them to stop any suppliers or corporate people or anyone else coming near the place on Mondays, because that's a standardised day, and they actually extend that for Monday and Tuesdays and most of Wednesdays, and do a lot of their other products on the Thursdays and Fridays. So getting that is probably a very key ingredient. Review all meetings by everyone so as to rationalise and minimise. Over the years, we all build up and we get going to all these different meetings that turn up, and sometimes we just really need to sit back and say, are they being effective? Do we really need them? Have we got the right people at them? Can other people attend, etc.? Can they be more effective and efficient and reduced in time? So doing a review of meetings and getting the meetings sorted out, and that leads on to this effective daily review meetings at all levels. So the meeting is very, very effective, and it is developing your frontline leaders to ensure that the plant runs smoothly for the day, is a key focus of effective daily review meetings. We need to minimise ad hoc events. That means meetings, activities, visits, etc. That all of a sudden occur because some ad hoc event has happened. So we need to put some sort of controlling policies in place to minimise that. And that can be simple as saying to corporate that if you want to come to site, you make an appointment, and don't expect an appointment within a week, because we need at least a week's notice. You get your act together, and we will fit you in, but we'll fit you in within our standardised work practices. Make visible to all the standard work of your leaders. In this day and age, most people have Outlook or Lotus Notes or some system where you can set up diaries so people can see exactly what is locked in, and those standard work activities or leader standard work is locked in, and people then have to be very mindful, and the discipline has to come from everyone to say, hey, I can't go and call people away if they are in the middle of their leader standard work unless a certain criteria is met, like a critical safety issue has occurred, etc. And finally, you've got to teach your leaders to set up regular standard work routines to get them to have the discipline to follow the routines that they establish, help them with them, help them to be effective in when they go out and talk to people, asking the right questions, and taking the corrective actions is absolutely critical for it to be effective. So how do we get started? If they're the critical elements, well, we're great believers in starting at the top. It's all very well rushing out and telling all your frontline leaders they should standardise their work, but very hard for that to occur if there isn't discipline in the organisation to support it. That's why we say start at the top. What's the old story? The fish rots at the head. If we don't get the head right, it's just not going to sustain. So we need to start at the top to ensure there is an understanding of the importance and benefit of leader standardised work. The second point, probably the most important one, is to ensure all site management members have a passion to develop their people. Now, if you haven't got the right people on the bus, as they say, you're not going to get very far. So your management team need to fully appreciate and embrace and develop a passion for the fact that it's the frontline people who can find the problems at the earliest possible time and address them. Therefore, we need very, very effective frontline leaders. We need very, very good first level staff people or salary people supporting those frontline leaders, and we need effective managers. So it's getting that mindset and having the right people on the bus, so to speak, at this top of the organisation. Then we need to create the right environment by having an organisation structure that has no more than 7 people reporting to any leader. Again, we've gone into organisations where they don't have correct structure and wonder why they have a very reactive environment. We're finding more of that out there, which is very, very disappointing. So we've learned from all our research, all the clients we've worked with, that no leader should have any more than 7 direct reports, whether it be a frontline leader with the workforce, or whether it be a supervisor or first level staff person, or a manager or a site manager. Shouldn't have any more than 7. And if they're a junior leader, in other words, they haven't got a lot of experience, they're new in the role, we'd be keeping that level to probably about 3 or 4 rather than 7. So getting that right environment in place so they can go out and develop their people. You need to conduct a meeting and activity analysis to determine the current situation. So what is all the meetings? What are all the activities that we're doing currently? Can we rationalise, streamline them? So a simple meeting review. List all the meeting, you put a little table together and go out and ask all your leaders to list all the meetings they attend during the past week or month and provide a reasonable estimate of the time you spend attending each meeting. Work out how much time people are locked into meetings and whether that can be streamlined. And it's amazing when you do this that often you can make quite a significant impact straight away, and that gets people on board and it frees up their time as well. Look at that type of activities that they're doing. Are they doing safety hazard walks or safety reviews, quality audits? When we do work area management, there's 5S compliance audits. When we do operator equipment management, there's also compliance audits. Are they doing personal development plans or reviews or other activities? There's a lot of activities that we expect from our leaders. It's good just to put them all down and understand how much time goes into them and where they fit into the master plan. So once we've done that, it's rationalise these meetings and activities for your leaders to try to get more sense into what's going on out there, and monitoring that ad hoc ones aren't thrown at them. Then develop a plan with realistic timeframes, and finally monitor the plan on a weekly basis. Things don't happen without a plan, and we need to ensure we have a very realistic and plan that we can monitor. And it's like any plans, as you reflect on it, you'll probably change, adjust it, etc. But again, probably in any plan, start at the top and cascade down. Don't start at the bottom and work your way up. Has been a key learning. So final word, operational excellence world class is about having leaders who have passion to develop their people so they can find and address problems at the earliest possible time while creating a workplace that stops problems from occurring. Like all successful teams, you need discipline to succeed. So this is putting that discipline into the workplace. So just how can we help? As Samantha mentioned, we've got our workshop program coming together for next year. Meanwhile, become part of the CI community. We're getting more and more members, and it's a great opportunity to network with other sites at a time convenient to yourselves rather than a structured process. And I'll hand over to Samantha for any questions, please.
Thank you, Ross. So we have question time now. So if you'd like to raise your hand or type any questions in the box provided in your control panel, that would be great. We have one question here, Ross. You mentioned a number of activities to support the improvement journey. However, most of our supervisors have very limited time for these and often only get to do them at the end of the month. So how will this help them?
Well, it's a good question. This is what this whole process is about, is trying to get more stability in and discipline in, so all the tasks, one, that they are agreed that they are important and there's benefit in them, and two, that we do them at a disciplined time, not the old end of month must rush out there, flick, tick, and oh yes, I've done my safety audit, I've walked around, I've said hello to 3 people, thank you very much. Because the workforce aren't silly. They know what's going on. They can see, oh yeah, here's the manager or the supervisor just doing this to get the numbers right on their reports. So,
Yep.
okay.
Yep, very good. Doesn't look like we have any other question. Oh,
Hang on.
spoke too soon. We do have another question. Is the time important in making a LSW?
Okay, making a
LSW in capitals, leader standard
okay.
work.
Leader standard work, or
Yeah.
time important in making. Yeah, the timing is right. Again, it's getting into routines. We want our people to get into routines. So having compliance audits should be done at a set time so we can plan to do them. So putting the time frame into doing things rather than just saying we want you to go out and talk to so many people about their quality standards. There should be a set time to do it, because then people can see or expect that leader to be turning up. And if they've got questions or issues they want to raise, they can do so. So yeah, time is very, very important, and it should be a set time. And again, there should be that discipline. It's just like a daily review meeting. You set a time for it, and at the end, bingo, thank you, I've used my time up. And try to not drag the whole thing on, especially if you've got other people involved in the activity you're doing.
Okay, great. And very good. Is any other questions? I think that is it. So we will end it there. So thank you for attending. Please feel free to contact us at any time if you do have any further questions, or if you think of something once we've turned off this webinar, and or if you just require some information or like to have a chat with us. So we hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and we hope to see you next time. So thank you.
Yep.